Hey everybody, Dr. Sanderson here. Welcome to Unit 6, where we're going to be talking about Pinterest. Now, I suspect that some of you are maybe pretty avid Pinterest users. Others of you have probably never gotten on Pinterest at all. So Pinterest is an interesting platform because unlike Facebook and even to a certain extent Twitter, um, there's mixed views on how viable the platform is for organizations. So in other words, it's very rare for someone to say, oh, a business doesn't need to be on Facebook, whereas I think there's a little more discussion and mixed views on whether, every organization should be on Pinterest. So, Vaynerchuk, as you'll see in the readings, clearly takes the position that every organization needs to be on Pinterest. So that's something I'm going to have you kind of dissect and discuss in the discussion forum question. How viable is Pinterest for every organization? Some other things to think about with Pinterest that are really interesting is that Pinterest, as many of you might know, tends to skew very heavily female. The latest figures indicate that 81% of the 150 million users of Pinterest are female. So, and in fact, I know men who say they will never get on Pinterest because it's just not, it's seen as something for women, and they don't want to have anything to do with it. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of companies that men are a very big part of their audience, and those organizations are on Pinterest. And so one potential direction you could go with your discussion forum question, which is two parts, is to look at an organization that has a high male audience and look at how they're using Pinterest and if the content you select would be a good or not so good way to reach men. So some really mixed views on that. Personally, I don't think it's a problem that there's that big of a female audience on Pinterest, but it leads to some really interesting thoughts about reaching men and women on the platform. And then secondly, Pinterest has become its own search engine. So one of the articles will read will talk about just how much data and how much information is searched for on Pinterest. And so because of that, Pinterest has now come out with searchable ads that I think are going to be very relevant for a lot of organizations using the platform. And Pinterest actually has developed quite a few tutorials and very user-friendly videos that are great to help organizations get a sense of how they can use Pinterest. And they, as we've looked at with Facebook and Twitter, they have their own metrics as well. So Pinterest is, a really kind of unique and interesting platform. We don't talk about it as much as we do Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, but it's clearly a force. And I know a lot of people who use it for all their food ideas, all their home decor ideas. They all come from Pinterest. They don't even go to Google. They just go search Pinterest and look and see what's out there. And one last thing that we'll talk about in the materials for Unit 6 is that there's a big identity function on Pinterest. A lot of people use it to express aspects of their identity as well as what they would like their identity to be. And so Vaynerchuk talks about how Pinterest is a really great way to market or design content around aspirations, because that is something that's very much an influencer when people are seeking to buy. So just a couple things with the unit, the discussion forum question, again, your initial response by Thursday, your 2 response posts by Sunday. And then remember, your industry interview is due by Sunday. And you'll submit that through the Blackboard, and there'll be links in the announcements as well as in the course resources. So I'm looking forward to reading about the people that you interviewed and what you learned from their experiences in working with social media. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.